Welcome to Chromeillusion.com. I'm Stephen Burns, and I would like to share with you some of the functionalities of the Wacom pen in relationship to the Wacom Properties Panel. So I have a standard brush here, as you can see. If I press very lightly, I'm using the Wacom Cintiq, by the way, and if I press very hard, I get all types of pressure functionality. Now, right over here, all I have selected is the transfer, its other dynamics and other versions of Photoshop, and I have pen pressure, for the opacity, and flow selected. Okay, we're going to keep it a very simple brush. All right, so let's take this away just temporarily, and what I'm going to do is go to my Wacom Properties Panel. Now, here's my Wacom Properties Panel, which is going to allow me to customize how the brush is going to feel when I'm painting in Photoshop. Now, if you're on a PC, you'll access the Properties panel through your Program Files or your Start Menu Program Files to the Wacom folder. On a Macintosh, you're going to access your Preferences and then your Wacom Tablet Properties. You'll see it in there. Now, currently, I have the 21-inch Cintiq selected because that's the one that I'm working on. Working right on screen using pressure sensitivity, painting and drawing directly on screen. I also have my 12-inch Cintiq selected. Not selected, but connected to my system, so it sees it. In addition, I have my Intros 4 actually connected to my system. And as you notice, I've connected on the Intros 4. The particular pin that's connected to that, which is my art pin, it's selected. Now, I'm working on the 21-inch, so I'm going to select that, and immediately you see the grip pin selected for that one. All right, let's go here and have some fun. I want to apply properties for Photoshop only. In the amazing thing about the Wacom properties is I can apply any and all preferences unique to every single program to my system. So if I jump into Microsoft Word, the preferences will on the fly jump into Word that's unique to Word. If I work in something like Outlook, the preferences will automatically jump to Outlook. I want the preferences to be set for Photoshop. So under the application, hit the plus symbol right here. Now on my system, Photoshop is not showing up. It should be. Any program that is open on your system, the Wacom properties will see it. I suspect there is a driver problem with the video card, so it's not displaying Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Browse. Now your system will see Photoshop. If it does, select it and click OK. But since mine doesn't, hit the Browse symbol, and I'm using the 64-bit operating system with 64-bit version of Photoshop. So under Windows 7 C drive, we go to Program Files, which is all my 64-bit programs are here. My 32-bit programs are here in the Program Files x86. So we're going to go to Program Files, Adobe, and then CS 5.1 is selected. Come right over here, select Photoshop executable file .exe. Now click Open. Don't worry about it if you don't see it here, if you're having similar problems as I am, because if I click OK, and it's showing you right down here, selected application, Program Files, Adobe, Adobe Photoshop CS 5.1, 64-bit Photoshop EXE. Select OK, there it is. Okay, now select it. Okay, it's selected. Now we can apply properties to it. Let's see, under the tip field here, by default is dead center. So if I take this brush, or this, not the brush, but alter the brush is what I want to say, to have a much softer feel. In other words, for people who have a very light feather touch of the hand and you want a softer feel with the brush, take it all the way to soft. Now I'm going to go back into Photoshop because on the fly it's going to apply this preference. So I'm going to press very light on the screen, and look, it's still kind of dark. I'm pressing very lightly. I'm barely pressing down on my tip, and it's registering as a pretty opaque result. Alright, so hit delete key. I'm going to get rid of this, and let's go back to my Wacom properties and say, you know what, that's too light. Let me go a little heavier. And I'm going to go 2 notches up on heavier. Okay, go back into Photoshop, and I'm going to press light, and you can see I have a little more control. And as I press a little harder and press a little lighter, it's still a little soft for me. I'm just not really that light-handed in my work. So go back to my Wacom Properties. And how about, now we were already on medium, so let's go all the way up to this one here. I'm going to go back into Photoshop, hit the delete to clear that area out, and start to paint very lightly. You see how light that is? And now I can press a little harder, and a little harder, and a little harder, and I have much more control. Now, my favorite area or notch to actually put it on, going back to the Wacom Properties, is this one right below the most firm that you can give it. Okay, so if I select this here, I can now have a lot more control because I'm a much more heavier handed person. So it feels much better for me. Okay, so definitely explore this and see how you I like it to feel. So tilt sensitivity, that's the tilting of the pen, from left to right. And also, don't forget to explore this. I'm going to go right over here to functions. Look at the tools here. The grip pen is selected. And my functions here for my bottom click and my top click. Alright. My right click, I like that set to a right click because I hit the bottom button. This is hovering about a quarter to a half an inch above my pad. And I get my submenus for each of my tools. So if I hit the S for the stamp tool, I'll right click, I'll get those options for that. If I go over to here to my selection tools like the magic wand, I'll right click and get the options for that one. Another favorite functionality that I have, and if we go explore the Wacom tablet properties, is if I go under my function keys here, and I also have what's called my Radial Menu. Alright, this is why you need to upload the newest drivers from Wacom, because this is a fairly recent addition to the tablet properties. And I have right here my tablet for my Radial Menu, because on my Wacom tablet, by default, we're going to go to our express keys. I have about 4 different express keys that I can customize shortcuts for. Alright, now right here is showing the defaults. We can set them for whatever we would like. Okay, but what if we run out? What if we have more than 8 shortcuts? We can set that for the Radial menus. I'm going to select the Radial menu, and I need to set a button that's going to bring up the Radial menu. I'm going to use this top click here to access my Radial menu. This is how it works. Right up in here, look at the top button, bring it on up to the top section, and select Radial menu. Alright, so if I go back into Photoshop, now I need to make sure that Photoshop is selected. Is it selected? No, it wasn't. Now this is where that most people are going to make a mistake, is they're going to think Photoshop is being selected, but it isn't. Select Photoshop. You see the Radial menu is gone. If I go back to all others, Radial menu come back, because that is what I set for all other applications. So select Photoshop, come over to here, select Radial menu. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. I want to select the Radial menu. Now if I go into Photoshop and hit the top click, here's my Radial menu where I can access other commands in Photoshop. Now, how can I set this up to customize for my own particular workflow? Alright, let's go back into my Wacom tablet properties, and let's go here, hit the functions under the tools. Radial menu is selected. I'm going to select this option here, which is this blank window. For that blank window, I'm going to tell the program select submenu. So that's going to be a submenu. I can select submenu here, all right, Or and I can we could rename it, right? So if I go to the top here, submenu selected, I'm going to rename that right over here on the right hand side. Let's say how about artists, spell this right. Let's see, artists brushes. Okay, hit enter, and automatically artist brushes is selected. When I select the artist brushes, we have a whole new pie selected. Okay, whole new brand new pie. What I'm going to do is I'm going to designate a piece or a slice of this pie for each of my shortcuts. So I'm going to select the first one, and I think I'm going to select keystroke, and the keystroke for the brush in Photoshop is the B. Come right down here, we'll name it brush and click OK. We'll go to the next one. We'll say the next one we're going to keystroke, the keystroke for the stamp tool. And I hit Shift S. I didn't mean to do that. If you accidentally click something you didn't want to click, you don't want to hit the delete key or the backspace, because it's going to designate it as another option. Hit clear. Hit the S for the stamp tool, come right down here and name it what you would like. And I want to make sure that everything is spelled right. So I'm going to go make sure that's selected and stamp and click OK. Well, let's see, what's another tool that we can, how about if we also select the marquee tool, which is M. So we'll come right over here and I'll go to the keystroke, hit M, come right over here, and we'll call it marquee and click OK. Alright, so I think everybody is getting the point here. So the last one I like to use is some of these tools over here, which is basically are retouching tools, and I believe the shortcut for those are J. So I'm gonna come right over here, select keystroke once again, hit the J. All right, and these again are going to be retouch. All right, and that's going to be like the retouching tools are going to be like the spot brush and the healing brush and so forth. And click OK. All right, so it's there. That's all I'm going to set for now. You can come in here and set as many as you like. And then once again, you can even set one of these as a separate submenu. Okay, and we'll come back to that in just a little bit. Now, if I go into Photoshop and I decide I want to use my brush tool, and right now I am in the actual magic wand tool, and hit the top click. There's my artist brushes. Click artist brushes. There they all are. Hit the brush and I can start to paint on my desktop. Okay, so here they are, artist brushes, and here they are. I have the marquee tool, and I can use my marquee tool. If I hit the brushes again and I say the retouching tool, and I can start to use my, whoop, it's not a lot of information there, but basically you can see it's selected here. It's all of my spot healing brush, my healing brush, and so forth, which is a shortcut, which is J. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit Command A, select all. Let's delete these, and let me show you one little functionality, and that will be select one of these empty menus, go ahead and give it a submenu. Maybe you want that submenu to be commands. I'm going to call it commands, hit enter, and under the commands menu you may want shortcuts like, let's go to keystroke, like Command L for levels, and we'll call this one levels. You may want another one, select another one. You may want a keystroke again. You may prefer to call this one the curves, which is going to be our Command M. All right, so I'm going to hit Command M. Let's go ahead and access again. Right over here, go to our keystroke, and How about Command B? There we go. I was having a little problem with the M on my keyboard, so I decided to switch to color balance. So right over here, we'll go color balance. Alright, that's all I'm going to do for now. Come on back into Photoshop. There we go. Artist brushes, go into artist brushes, go into commands. You have the option to do that as well. Okay, so you can set this. Here's my levels, and you can set it for whatever you like. Okay, so alright, so I think you guys are getting the point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you want to learn more about the Wacom tablet, this is actually in my workshops. Go to my website, workshops. Make sure you select the intermediate class. It's required that you have a Wacom tablet. The first day of the class is on how to create the custom function and functionality for your particular workflow, how to properly use it. The entire 5-week class is required that you use the Wacom tablet for all of your work. Okay? Alright, so I am Stephen Burns, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to bringing you more tips and tricks from chromeillusion.com. Enjoy.